Well, shall we see what the cards have to say?
I suppose we could look and see what the cards have to say.
Let's get a little shuffle.
Let's ask
here.
the cards if we should see what the cards have to say.
Cards, tell us what we need to know. Try again later.
Ooh, I don't like that one.
Yeah, it's not good.
At least it's not a no.
Yeah. No.
What do we got?
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
We got guilt. This has been coming up a lot, well, within myself in different sessions. Guilt.
Guilt in the sacral chakra. So you can sit down now.
Oh, sorry. I thought people would be fascinated by this woman drinking vodka and this other woman ironing with a shackle.
How do you know it's vodka?
Because it says vodka.
Oh, does it?
I think. She's got to get back to work.
Oh, yeah, she looks drunk. But look, she's chained.
Oh, she is chained. Is that the same person? Oh, I think it is supposed to be the same person.
Yeah. So what this is about is not about necessarily what's going on in the image, but it's a good image to talk to us a bit about what's happening. And this energy is our feelings of the things we are connected to from our past, the things we don't want to think about, the things we don't want to talk about, and the things we don't want to remember because we feel like we did something wrong. And because of that, that's where the chaining yourself to it comes from. I did this, I did that. And we don't realize that when we take action in a way that we're trying something. There's nothing wrong with trying something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When it doesn't go our way, there's this tendency to beat ourselves up and be angry at ourselves about it, or drink a lot of vodka instead of getting the ironing done.
I used to be really good at that.
Getting the ironing done, or
drinking a lot of vodka and not ironing.
For me, it was just beer.
Yeah.
How
was the ironing?
You know what?
Did you still iron?
I used to iron.
Okay.
When I had to wear a suit and tie every day, I would iron my clothing, my slacks and my shirts. But yeah, this is about finding a way to let go of all of that. We store this energy, obviously, with this card in our sacral chakra, and it blocks so much power we have in our lives. It takes away our ability to move towards things that we want to move towards. It keeps us from exploring new opportunities because we're so afraid to fail again and then feel more guilty, and then that bottle turns into 2 a day, and you know. So it's time that we start to realize that lessons are just as important as successes. Lessons are successes. And when we learn what we don't want to do, then we don't have to repeat it. And as long as you're paying attention and you see what went wrong and why it didn't fulfill the needs that you wanted it to fulfill, instead of beating yourself up, you can go, okay, well, let's try something different then.
Mm-hmm. Well, a couple things coming through. First off, I want to talk about, so this being the sacral chakra, what guilt physically does to our body. And many of us have digestive issues, and something that we can look at with the sacral chakra being associated with our relationships is if we are holding on to any guilt or shame or resentment towards others, that can cause some of our digestive issues that we have. And so something to reflect on if you are one of those people who are carrying around these physical ailments. Start to look at what you're holding on to from the past, and acknowledging it first and foremost. Who do I feel resentful for? Who haven't I forgiven yet? Is it another person or is it myself? Also with that, with my work with guilt, is learning to take responsibility for what is mine and not taking responsibility for what is not mine. So, if I believe that I made a mistake in the past, forgiving myself, taking responsibility, and like you said, learning from it, that is the success. Then once we learn from those lessons, then we can start to move forward and see that even if we have seen at one point that these are mistakes that we've made, that in those mistakes, it has built up this momentum to move forward with more openness and honesty, and not having to go back in and being shackled by the past. And when we are holding on to resentment from others, are we limiting ourselves from taking responsibility in those situations? Let's say there's an argument with a person, and we're casting blame on there. Well, what is our part, in all of that? And, are we brave enough to take responsibility for our own part in that? And then through that, forgive ourselves and move forward. Or if it is a situation where, let's say we experience some sort of a trauma that we're holding on to, that another committed against us, can we accept that this is a part of our story, that we are no longer living in that space, and moving forward? So just a couple different ways we can work with this sacral chakra energy around guilt.
Thank you for pointing out all the things I just glazed over there.
No, it was perfect. I mean, yeah.
Would you like to see what the tarot has to say?
I would like to see.
Because this is about what's happening in our lives right now. Mm-hmm. Oh, here. Do your thing where you make magic happen. It's nice and comfortable in this room. It's making me
I'm warm.
Sleepy.
Yeah. It's a little warm.
Am I under the blankets again? Oh boy. Oh boy.
King of Wands in reverse.
The King of Wands in reverse. Then this is going to correlate directly with that. Part of what I was saying at the beginning about how we have this fear of moving forward with new things because of the trauma of the old things we tried. It blocks us from accomplishing anything. And the King of Wands in reverse is saying that we have lost that control right now, that control over the things we're passionate about, the control over the things we would like to see in our lives, manifest in our lives. It really, really, really can affect you if you don't use your wisdom in this situation. And it's going to be very important to lean on that wisdom moving forward, or trying to move forward, because deep down that the things that you're feeling guilt about, be them actions that you took on purpose or not, if they're holding you back, when they're holding you back, and you need to be able to find a way past that in order to act on the things that are most important to you. Do you have anything to say on that?
Not yet.
Okay. The Two of Pentacles is about finding a way in your life right now to take chances, but do it with, sometimes this card can be about bonding with another person in life, and not necessarily in a romantic way. It can be about like a business partnership. It can be about, friends helping you out, anything like that. But in this circumstance, it really is pointing you towards seeing the duality of your situation. Yes, you may have made a mistake. No, it's not the end of the world. These two ideas seem like they're in conflict with each other, but really they're just pointing you to the continued secular nature of life, the ebb and flow of things, as it were, and knowing that as the good goes and the bad comes in, eventually the return is going to be different. And the only way to continue that flow back and forth or circularly is to take action. So you can't sit in this place where you're wallowing in self-pity about actions you've taken that didn't work out in your favor. You have to move forward. Otherwise, if the second you start standing still, everything starts standing still. So the Seven of Wands in reverse is asking you what parts of your mind and of your dreams and goals are you letting take advantage of you? Are you is it the dark side of all of those things? Like, say you have this life goal of getting a cat. Is it the fact that you'd love to have a cat, but oh man, then there's responsibility involved in that? And like, I'm just using this as an example. We have to look past the shadow aspect of the things we're trying to attain, just as much as we have to look at the positives. When we focus on the shadow aspects, though, the shadow aspects have the upper hand. So say you're trying to start a new business, and like specifically, we'll talk about the ever-present knowledge that starting a restaurant, for say, that like 60% of them fail within the first year. Is that a reason to not try? And by thinking in those terms, you're setting limitations on yourself. You're giving the advantage to failure. And what you want to do is not put yourself in a position where you're giving advantage to failure in any situation and then taking action on it anyway. You need to sort out that part first where you can see the positives more than you can see the negatives. And then you gain the upper hand, and it drives you forward in a more positive direction, a more powerful direction.
So another word I would use to describe this would be the saboteur.
Yeah.
So as we start to work through the limiting thoughts that are preventing us from moving forward, in this case associated with the guilt, it has the potential of creating two different timelines for us, of one path where we go down and we listen to the shadow side that is talking us out of achieving our goals, or we can see the shadow, see the continuation of this pattern, but work towards releasing that and allowing the pattern to break free. And to do this, there's a level of focus that's needed here. So, and this feels like a huge challenge for us right now. Mm-hmm. Like this is a collective thing, because many of us are faced with some huge life changes right now, and many of us, I know, are not wanting to compromise this vision of this more peaceful world that we are creating for ourselves and the collective. And with that, we are needing to release these shadows that have kept us shackled, And in this pattern of mundaneness and familiarity and comfort, to break through that, we need to start letting go and seeing that even though there may be a lot of unknowns, going with the restaurant thing, there's going to be challenges, right? However, if that's where our heart is pulling us into, we can start to trust with the Two of Pentacles that even though that the challenge is there and the shadow's there, that there's probably pretty good reason we're being drawn into this more light-filled path. So creating a focus with that, a new, stronger faith with that will help bring us through and release the saboteur energy that we are constantly, allowing to limit us from achieving these goals.
Yeah, because basically what could end up happening is you could end up sitting at a table alone with a bottle of vodka in front of you drunk.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Exactly. I just decided I wanted one more.
I said no.
Absolutely not. This is unimportant.
No,
Thank you for coming today.
I was going to request another card, so we're right there.
For some positive, uplifting news.
Look how proud he looks.
Well, yeah, right? Because he is looking at it through the eyes of youth, through the eyes, and not that anybody in this situation is old, but coming back to your youthful energy, your childlike energy. The most minute things could fascinate you, and you're never gonna find those things that really pull on you unless you start taking movement towards these things, these passions that you have. This also being a Wands card is still talking about these goals we want to achieve in life. And if we can look at them from this really fun perspective, this perspective of awe, like being enticed by the results. And I don't mean the grand result. I mean like the day-to-day things, like, hey, I sat down and I did that. And it's looking positive today, Mm-hmm. As long as we can continue to do that, everything's going to end up being okay. That's how we're going to release the guilt as well. It's like, today I feel really downtrodden and guilty, but I took this one step and I just feel better because I told myself, it's not as bad as it seems. And that tiny little moment where you felt that is enough to spur wanting more moments. So.
Yeah. Remembering your why, as your heart reveals to you, or probably has already revealed to you, where your desire is, well, why are you being drawn into that desire? What is it that you are releasing? What is this vision of this new world you're creating for yourself? And when we come back to that why, going off of what you said, it creates this level of positivity around that where, oh, okay, it's worth doing what I'm doing.
Right.
It's worth putting in the work in because I know that there's going to be more balance in my world and the world of those around me by stepping into this path.
Yeah. I think, what we should do?
What?
Is meditate on
I think
it.
that's great. Put your feet on the ground. Bring stillness into your body. Take a few deep breaths down in towards the belly. And as you exhale, just releasing anything outside of this space, any thoughts of the past or the future, worries, fear, just for a few moments. And bring your inner vision to this world within you. And if it feels like there's a lot of chaos, uncertainty, take a moment to go underneath that. If you could clear the road, what within yourself would you see at the end of this road? What is the strength within that keeps you going? Where is that desire leading you? And as you connect with what is at the end of this road, experiencing, receiving that in this moment. How does the heart feel to have already reached its goal? How will the body shift? How will the mind shift? What has opened up for you to experience? What no longer holds you back? Your goal isn't something to attain later. It is something you've already attained right now in this moment by connecting with the knowing that it is yours to receive. Draw in those feelings of success, of celebration, of the self. You are free. What could hold you back? If it has already been decided that you will attain this goal, together we will release resistance of the mind that says, this won't happen, this will be hard, this won't work out. And we'll bring ease into this moment, allowing the path to take shape, surrendering to what that may look like, and trusting that all will fall into place. Let's deepen our breath. Bringing our hands to prayer in front of the heart, bowing down towards a sacred heart of ours that holds that God light within. As we honor that light within our individual selves, honoring that same light within all beings, may we all be at peace. Namaste. Excellent. Thank you, dear friends, for joining this morning.
If any of you would like a more in-depth reading, I am available most times. You can book on ordinarypioneer.com. Any other services as well?
Qigong,
That's true.
Reiki.
That's true.
We're open today until 1 o'clock. Mary and Anya are here offering Reiki, oracle readings, meditation, and channeling.
Yeah.
And then Paul will be here Friday. You can do some private card readings or Qigong or Reiki.
You may have to poke me and wake me up.
No, you'll be more awake by Friday.
That's true. As long as it's not 100 degrees in the room.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a little toasty in here. Have a blessed week. Get outside today. It's
Sunshine,
gorgeous.
60s.
Gorgeous. I'm gonna make my way to
Thunderstorms
the park.
tomorrow for all the people that get excited about that like I do. Yeah.
That was my subtle woo.
Enjoy.